Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of Computer Graphics CS443. It's lecture number 17, and today we will discuss about traditional graphics pipeline in OpenGL. Today we will discuss about traditional graphics pipeline, and after that we will study about transformation. There are different transformations in OpenGL. What is lightning? What is clipping? What is the role of scan conversion in OpenGL, and after that we will study about pixel processing. So what is a graphics pipeline? Computer graphics pipeline, rendering pipeline, it is also called rendering pipeline, or simply graphics pipeline. It is a conceptual model. First of all, it is a conceptual model, and it is also called a rendering pipeline. This means when an object passes through this pipeline, there are some transformations that takes place, and after that process, an object is able to render on the screen and so on. So this is the concept of the pipeline. A pipeline, in a pipeline, this means there are some phases or some steps in sequence that needs to be performed in a sequence for an object to be rendered on the screen. So a computer graphics pipeline is a conceptual model in that sense, and it describes what steps a graphic system here. The graphic system means the GPU, the graphics processing unit. Let me write this over here, because when we are talking about OpenGL, the graphics system is also called a graphics processing unit, or like for example NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA, this is called a graphics processing unit. It is called a graphics processing unit, okay, or a graphics card. In simple terms, we called a graphics system a graphics card. It describes what steps a graphics system needs to perform to render a 3D scene to a 2D scene. So it is the task of the GPU or graphics card to perform some steps in sequence to render a three-dimensional scene. Here the D stands for dimensional, here three-dimensional scene to two-dimensional screen. Okay, so this is the responsibility of graphics system. Once a 3D model has been created, for instance in a video game, because when we are talking about OpenGL, OpenGL is widely used in the development of games. So once a 3D model has been created, for instance in a video game or any other 3D computer animation, the graphics pipeline is the process of turning that 3D model into what the computer displays. So the graphics pipeline is a pipeline, or is a process of turning a 3D model that needs to be displayed on a computer screen. The steps required for this operation depend on the software and hardware used and the desired display characteristics. So these steps need to be performed in sequence, and those steps are dependent on the software configurations or the hardware. The hardware here, the hardware refers to the graphics card and the desired display characteristics. Okay, 2D or 3D. There is no universal graphics pipeline suitable for all cases. This does not mean that that there is a universal graphics pipeline that is performed that is suited for every type of application. So every graphics card has a different rendering pipeline with the help of which an object is displayed on the screen. Graphics application programming interfaces such as Direct 3D and OpenGL. Direct 3D, we have studied this. It is an old method, and it is mostly used in Microsoft Windows applications, and it's proprietary. And the OpenGL is not Microsoft based, but it is maintained and created by Coronas Group, were created to unify similar steps and to control the graphics pipeline of a given hardware accelerator. So graphic application APIs such as Direct 3D or OpenGL, they were created to unify similar steps. This means that the mechanisms or the steps that are in Direct 3D are somewhat similar to the OpenGL steps. They are not totally the same steps, but somewhat similar to each other, and they control the graphics pipeline of a given hardware accelerator. These APIs abstract the underlying hardware and keep the programmer away from writing code to manipulate the graphics hardware accelerators like AMD, Intel, or NVIDIA graphics card, etc. So these, when we are using an API's application programming interfaces, then those interfaces abstract the underlying hardware and keep the programmer away from writing code to manipulate the graphics hardware accelerator. So when we are using APIs, this means then it is very easy to write a code for one platform and then port that code to another platform, and this is because of these APIs. With the help of those APIs, we are writing code in some in one platform, and then we can also compile or run code on another platform, and this is the advantage of these APIs. The model of graphics pipeline is usually in a real-time rendering. This means that the scene we are seeing on the screen is rendered in a real time and not stored in the buffer. Often most of the pipeline steps are implemented in hardware, which allows for special optimizations. This is somewhat we call it it is a drawback that the pipeline steps are implemented in the hardware, because the software is not so much capable to transform a 3D object to a 2D object. We need some type of the hardware for this purpose. That's why the most of the pipeline is implemented in the hardware, and because it is implemented in the hardware, this means that we need some optimizations that needs to be performed on the software layer, so that the final image can be rendered as desired. The term pipeline is used in a similar sense to the pipeline in processors. We can see the individual steps of the pipeline run parallel but are blocked until the slowest step has been completed. This means that those steps can be executed or run in a parallel mode, but blocked until the slowest step has been completed. This means that if the one task is under processing, the other task will wait for that task, and then after that task will perform its necessary actions. But in hold it, the tasks are running in parallel. This is the special case in which one task needs some type of the data from another task, and that task is busy in its own processing. That's why the requested task will wait until the task takes data from stops or completes its work. So what is the main concept of this traditional graphics pipeline? The 3D pipeline usually refers to the most common form of computer 3D rendering called 3D polygon rendering, or it is distinct from ray tracing and ray casting. In a ray casting, a ray originates at the point where the camera resides, and if that ray hits a surface, the color and lighting of the point on the surface where the ray hit is calculated. So Raycasting is a process. Raycasting is a process in which a ray is originated at the point where the camera resides, and if that ray hits a surface, the color and the lighting of the point on the surface where the ray hit is calculated. So this is the way with the help of which the actual scene is rendered on the screen. In 3D polygon rendering, the reverse happens. The area is in the view of the camera is calculated, okay, and then the rays are recreated from every part of every surface in view of the camera and traced back to the camera. So in that case, these two processes are opposite to each other. In this process, first a ray originates at the point where the camera resides, and if that ray hits a surface, the color and lighting of the point on the surface where the ray hit is calculated. This is the process in raycasting. And what is in the inverse? The inverse is the area that is in the view of the camera is calculated first, and then the rays are created from every part of every surface in the view of the camera and traced back to the camera. This means that we are using over here the lightning concept along with the camera concept, okay. The camera takes images or takes snapshots with the help of the flashlight, okay. So this is the whole process of ray tracing and raycasting. But in the second step, we are using the lightning mechanism. First the view of the camera is calculated, and then the rays are created from every part of every surface with the help of this lightning mechanism, okay. And what is the structure of this whole process? A graphics pipeline can be divided into three main types. The first is called application layer, and the second is called geometry layer, and the third layer is called a rasterization layer, okay. So what is a graphics pipeline? A graphics pipeline is a combination of these three processes alone. This is the first step of this pipeline, and this is the second step of this pipeline, and this is the third step of this pipeline. And after that, when an object passes through, when the object here the object refers to a 2D object or a 3D object where the lightning is emitting, when the object passes through these three layers, then it will be able to display on the screen. So this is the structure of the pipeline. The first part is the application part. The second is the geometrical part. Here we have studied different geometric primitives like lines, polygons, squares, rectangles, triangles. Those are calculated, and then the rasterization process, and after that the scene will be displayed on the screen. So what is the application layer of this pipeline? The application step is executed by the software on the main processor. Here we have written the CPU, but most recommended it is a GPU, okay. GPU, because GPU the 2D or 3D conversion is based on matrix multiplications, so that's why the GPU is most recommended than CPU. So the application step is executed by the software on the main processor. The software will be 2D Direct or OpenGL. Okay, OpenGL, it is executed with the help of the OpenGL. These matrix multiplications will be done by OpenGL on the processor. In the application step, changes are made to the scene as required. Some modifications needs to be done to the scene according to the requirement. For example, by user interaction, by means of input devices, or during an animation, okay. So these are the modifications that needs to be done before the final input with the help of some input devices or during an animation. In the modern game engines such as Unity, 2D or 3D, the programmer deals almost exclusively. This means the programmer is involved wholeheartedly with the application step and uses a high-level language such as C# as opposed to C or C++ to done this step, okay. But in OpenGL, it is performed by the software. And the new scene will with all its primitives. Here the term primitives means we have 3 different primitives like polygons and rectangles, quadrilaterals, etc. Usually triangles, lines and points is then passed on to the next step in the pipeline. Okay, the new scene will with all its primitives, triangles, lines and points, is then passed on to the next step in the pipeline. Examples of tasks that are typically performed in the application step are collision detection, and then animation, morphing and acceleration techniques that use special subdivision schemes such as quadtrees and octrees. These are the concepts we will study later on in our further lectures. These are also used to reduce the amount of memory required at a given time, and this is the optimization step. This step is also performed in the application part, and the world of modern computer game is far larger than what could fit into the memory at once. So these are the techniques that is performed in the application part of this graphics pipeline, different memory optimizations and so on. So this is the second part or second phase of this graphics pipeline, which is called geometry, okay. When we are in the geometry phase, this is in the geometry, these are the steps that needs to be performed in this geometrical phase, okay. The first phase is which is called model and camera transformation. Here the term model means our 2D model or 3D model, and some camera transformations, because we need to set our camera according to the model so that it can be transformed in a way that is desired. And after that there is a concept which is called lightning concept, because we cannot see a 3D object or a 2D object with the help of without the lightning scheme. So the lightning is a very important factor, and it is considered in rendering. When the scene is going to be rendered on the scene, the lightning factor contributes a lot. And after that the third step is called a projection step. Projection step is because we are moving objects from one location to another, or rotating objects. So this step is also very important step, which is called projection step, because we are scaling out different objects and we are moving some objects with the help of different angles. So that's why this step is also very important. And the fourth step is called clipping. Clipping is also a very important concept. If you want to reduce if you want to remove and those elements from our scene that is not desired, so that's why we use clipping. And after that we will use window viewport transformation step, okay. So these are the steps and this is totally dependent viewport transformation on the device coordinates. So please because we are seeing different animations, movies and games on different screens, so this window viewport transformation is totally dependent on device coordinates. Those devices may be your laptop screens, your computer screens, your tablet screens, or your mobile phone screens. So these device coordinates are very important when the scene is going to be rendered on the final screen. The geometry step with geometry pipeline, let me erase this so that we can visualize it more properly. So the geometry step with geometry pipeline, which is responsible for the majority of the operations with polygons and their vertices with vertex pipeline, can be divided into the following 5 tasks. And it depends on the particular implementation of how these tasks are organized as actual parallel pipeline steps. So these steps are performing in a parallel fashion as well. So there are some definitions that helps in understanding of our basic concepts in today's lecture. What is a vertex? A vertex is a point in the world. Any point in the world is called a vertex. Any point in the world is called a vertex, and many points are used to join the surfaces. And in special cases, points clouds are drawn directly, but this is still the exception. A triangle is the most common geometric primitive of computer graphics, so this is the main point. The triangle is the most important geometric primitive in computer graphics, and it is defined by three vertices and a normal vector. The normal vector serves to indicate the front face of the triangle in the 3D fashion, and is a vector that is perpendicular to the surface. Okay, you have studied this concept vector and matrices in your previous classes. The triangle may be provided by the color or with the texture which is called glued on top of it. Triangles always exist on a single plane, therefore they are preferred over rectangles. So rectangles are not so much preferable, but the triangles are, because triangles always exist on a single plane, and it is not the case with the rectangles. That's why they are preferred. So in order to move further, we need to understand this concept which is called coordinate systems. There are two types of coordinate systems. One is called polar coordinate system, and the other is called simple coordinate system. The word coordinate system is the coordinate system in which the virtual world is created. X, Y, and Z components. These are all coordinate systems. This should meet a few conditions for the following mathematics to easily be applicable. It must be a Cartesian coordinate system, and that is a rectangular, in which all axes are equal scaled. Okay, because in a triangle, in a rectangle, all axes are of the same scale. Okay, that's why all axes. Coordinate system, simple coordinate system is Cartesian coordinate system, and the other system is called polar coordinate system. It must be a rectangular coordinate Cartesian coordinate system in which all axes are equal scaled. Okay, you see each part has equally scaled. That's why it is a rectangular Cartesian coordinate system. The objects contained within the scene, like houses, trees, and cars, are often designed in their own object coordinate systems. Cartesian coordinate system, also called model coordinate system or the local coordinate system, for reasons of simpler modeling. And to assign these objects to coordinates in their word coordinate system or global coordinate system, word coordinate system and global coordinate system are interchangeably used of the entire scene. The object coordinates are transformed by means of translation, rotation, and scaling. So these three steps are very much important: translation, rotation, and scaling. You have studied these concepts in your linear algebra course. I hope you have the basic understanding of these three concepts: translation, rotation, and scaling. These are the concepts that is relevant to your linear algebra course knowledge, and this is done by multiplying the corresponding transformation matrices, because all transformations are done with the help of these transformation matrices. Okay, so the term matrix is very much important when we are playing with graphics in graphics pipeline, because we are playing with different objects. That object could be a 2D object or a 3D object, and we are moving those objects with the help of, or changing those objects with the help of these three transformation steps: translation, rotation, and scaling steps. Several differently transformed copies can be formed from one object. For example, a forest from a tree. We can make different copies of the object. For example, a forest from a tree, and this technique is called instancing. Okay, it's somewhat similar to your object-oriented concept, which is called, when we are creating an object, this means that we are creating its instance. So because we are creating a new object, this means we are creating a new instance. So this step is called instancing. So let's discuss about transformation. Here you can see that before transformation the fish looks like this, but after transformation it looks like this. You can easily judge that its tail it's totally looks different from this tail. Okay, here is its small tail and it's a big tail, and here you can also feel a small difference. on the front side. Okay, so this is called transformation. This fish is transformed into this one. Why we use transformations? Transformations are used to position objects in a scene, change the shape of the objects. We can change the shape of the object with the help of the transformation, and we can create multiple copies of the objects at the same time. And projection of our virtual cameras, we can also create virtual cameras with the help of projections, and this step is done with the help of transformations. And the fourth one is animations. So transformations are used heavily in animations. These are called simple transformations. The first one is called identity transformation. The second one is called translation. Here you can see that we have translated an object from one object to another object. Okay, and the third one is called rotation, and the fourth one is called isotropic uniform scaling, because here the size matters. Scaling, in scaling we change the size of an object, but the picture looks but the picture pixels would not be disturbed. So this is called isotropic uniform scaling, and this is called rotation, a step in which the fish is rotated slightly from its current axis to the axis below. And here you can see that we have translated one fish to another fish and removed some color from it, and this is called the identity. Same object in the simple transformation. So these transformations are very much important in studying the graphics pipeline, because when a 2D object comes into 2D or 3D object comes into this pipeline, these transformations would take place and the final object will be seen on the screen. There is also another transformation which is called rigid body. You have seen this in your previous slide as well. Euclidean transformation, a rigid transformation, also called Euclidean transformation or Euclidean isometry, is a geometric transformation of a Euclidean space that preserves the Euclidean distance between every pair of the lines. So if you want to preserve the Euclidean distance between the pair of the lines, so in that case you can use this rigid body Euclidean transformation, and in this transformation the Euclidean distance will be preserved between every pair of the points. After that, there are some more transformations which are called similarity transformations. Geometry transformations are movements of two-dimensional shapes in 2 dimensions or within the plane. Okay, so the first one is called the rotation. Here you can see that this object is rotated in this fashion. Shapes are rotated or turned around on an axis, so the axis will remain the same. This is the axis, but the shape is rotated. And the second one is called the reflection. Shapes are flipped across an imaginary line to make mirror images. So reflection is the concept of mirror images. Two objects, when they are mirrored to each other, but their faces are on different directions. And the third phase is called the translation. So these are all geometric transformations. Shapes are slide across the plane. Here you can see that this object is slided to this distance. This is the slide. Okay, this is the slide. Okay, the object is moved from one point to another point, but the actual shape of the object will remain the same. What is linear transformation? Linear transformation is a transformation in which we preserve the parallel lines. And there is a concept of scaling and reflection and shear in linear transformations. These are the concepts in linear algebra. Non-uniform scales, shears or skews, and this is called scaling. We have scaled it, the object is scaled, zoom in, zoom out, and this is called reflection. Same object but different mirrors, and this is called the shear concept. So these are all linear transformations. After that, we have also another transformations which are called affine transformations. Transformations also preserves the parallel lines. So we have studied this rigid, Euclidean translation, identity, and rotation, isotropic, and then we come to this linear scaling, reflection, and shear. And here you can see we are in affine transformations. So in affine transformations we also preserves the parallel lines. And there is also another type of transformation which is called projective transformations. It also preserves parallel lines. So there are three types of transformations: parallel, affine, and projective transformations, in which we preserve lines. Here you see that we have projected an image. What is lighting? Lighting is a very important concept in computer graphics. Often a scene contains light sources placed at different positions to make the lighting of the object appear more realistic. Here you can see that the light, when the light is thrown on some surface, it is either reflected or refracted. So and the viewer and it makes an angle also. So the human eye is capable of to capture this reflected light. In this case, a gain factor for the texture is calculated for each vertex based on the light sources and the material properties associated with the corresponding triangle. So this is a light source. You can see that when the light hits this surface over here, it is reflected into different directions, and then the viewer is able to see the object which is on the opposite side. In this case, a gain factor for the texture is calculated for each vertex based on the light sources and the material properties associated with the corresponding triangle. So here it makes a triangle shape, that's why the angle is going to be calculated over here. In the later rasterization step, the vertex values of a triangle are interpolated over its surface. As you can see in this image, the natural light, which is also called ambient light, when it hits the surface, it is reflected along different directions. General lighting, which is also called ambient lighting, is applied to all surfaces. It is the diffuse and thus direction independent brightness of the scene. And the scene is brightened because of this reflection process. The sun is a directed light source which can be assumed to be infinitely far away, and the illumination affected by the sun on a surface is determined by forming the scalar product of the directional vector from the sun and the normal vector of the surface. So these individual light rays forms different vectors. As you can see that these individual light rays forms different vectors when they hit the surface. So as a result, the light is reflected back. If the value is negative, the surface is facing the sun. There is also another concept which is called clipping. Clipping, as its name suggests, is the process of removing extra elements from an image. Only the primitives which are within the visual volume need to be rastered, drawn, and this visual volume is defined as the inside of frustum. Here you can see a frustum of a cone. This is the first part of the image, and this is the second part of the image. Okay, so it is a frustum, a shape in the form of a pyramid with the cut off the top. Okay, so this is a pyramid. This is also a pyramid shape, having the two directions, somewhat similar to a primitive, and having a small circle on its base. Primitives which are completely outside the visual volume are discarded. Like in this image, you can see that this part is discarded. So when this part is discarded, this part will remain the same. So as a result, a frustum of cone is formed. Further queuing methods such as black phase queuing, which reduce the number of primitives to be considered, and it can be theoretically be executed in any step of the graphics pipeline. So frustum is performed in the graphics pipeline in a sequence, and primitives which are non-partially inside the cube must be clipped against the cube. And what is the advantage of this step? The advantage of the previous step is the clipping always takes place against the same cube, and only the possibly clipped primitives which are within the visual volume are forwarded to the final step. There is another process which is called scan conversion. The process of representing continuous graphic objects as a collection of discrete pixels is known as the scan conversion. This is the process in which we represent any object in a continuous way. So that's why it is called scan conversion. This can be demonstrated by a line that is defined by its two endpoints and the equation of that line. Also by a circle that is represented by its midpoint and the radius. The job of conversion of every primitive object represented on the graphics screen into a set of pixels that is its basic form is termed as scan conversion or rasterization. So sometimes it is called rasterization and sometimes it is called scan conversion. So these two terms are used interchangeably. The conversion of the graphics screen lines and objects depicted in pixels is scan conversion. So this is the final definition of this scan conversion. Thus, the process of scan conversion requires some basic rules and guidelines to be followed. The first rule says that all the objects drawn on the graphic screen should be of uniform brightness. This is the first requirement. The brightness content must be the same for every point so that the conversion is made easy. So because if there is no uniform brightness, then the image will not form on the screen. And the objects drawn on the graphic screen should be free from any orientation and independent of the length and the size. So this is the third requirement, that it is free from any orientation and independent of the length and size. As a result, the scan conversion will take place. As you can see, these objects, these tiny circles, they have the same brightness. That's why the scan is going to be converted. Other circles are not producing the same brightness. That's why the scan conversion will only take place on these small circles. What is a pixel? Pixel stands for picture elements. A pixel is the smallest unit of graphics image, or referred to as a physical point in the raster. And this is the component of the original graphics image which provides even more clear representation than the original image. The intensity of each pixel may vary as it depends on the image represented in the graphics image, and the color combination is represented by the three basic colors that are red, green and blue. So these are also called the components of the image, red, green and blue. Every image is formed, colored image is formed because of these three components, red, green and blue. So the pixel takes these three values in different proportions and form an image. Why we need to scan conversion algorithms? We can apply the scan conversion algorithm for various objects such as points, line, polygon, polygons, different rectangle, triangle and many more, circle, arc, sector and any filled region. So that's why we need scan conversion algorithms to convert these things to different objects. What are the advantages of scan conversion? This scan conversion methodology is used for many purposes, such as for the TV, the card used to capture a video, LCD monitors, projectors used for video display and many more. So these devices are using a scan conversion process behind the scenes. This conversion technique has large and many applications in the daily life. One can efficiently perform this scan conversion using high and good speed circuits that are integrated. So these are mechanical details and out of the scope of this topic. So we can skip this topic as well. So if you have any questions regarding today's lecture, you can email me on my official email and I will reply you accordingly. Inshallah, meet you in your next lecture. Till then, Allah Hafiz.